Peace and high vibrations to you all. How we doing? I've been getting a lot of questions on how did I get here? Prayer. How do I do it? How do I connect with my spirits? All of that. And I figured, why not tell you now? One, there is no formal way to pray unless you're a part of a set religion. That's number one. Um, for me, prayer is a form of vocalizing what it is that you want to manifest into reality. Now, I know I made another video on the etymology of the word prayer, what it really means, and why we shouldn't do it. However, I think when we are using words, we have to remember that our intention is really what guides them. So if we go into prayer, if our intentions are to go into prayer, one of the things I try to do is always to approach prayer in an affirming way, commanding, declaring, and decreeing. Oftentimes, religion teaches you to pray in a way that comes off as if you are begging. That is not how I pray. I do not beg anybody, nobody, man or spirit. Don't beg you. So when I do pray, all of my prayers are intentional because most of them are written down. Like, oftentimes I will go throughout my day talking to God, and that's considered prayer as well. Well, it's personable because I'm speaking to Him from the heart. But sometimes when I want my prayer to have actual intention and really be thorough, I write them down, and I keep a prayer notebook, which is something that I suggest everyone keeps. But just the idea of what it is that my prayer sounds like. If you need pointers on prayers as well, I use this book called Prayers That Rout Demons. I also work out of the book of Psalms. I use this book as well, and what I do is I never really say anybody else's prayers word for word. What I do is I take the prayers out the book and I write them down, reword them to fit and to tailor my beliefs and what I want to be manifested. I also use the Keys of Solomon as well, because they do talk a lot in here on referencing God before doing work with anybody. But a little bit of what a prayer sounds like that does not come off as begging. I declare and decree that the powers of my enemies be made impotent over this region. I declare and decree, meaning I am speaking to the situation. I'm speaking directly to the energy of my enemies, and I am bringing it down. Now, most people, when they go into prayer, they're like, God, please make my enemies leave me alone. Please, God. Please. No, I'm not. I'm working alongside God. He's not just going to do this shit. And because, what if my enemies praying to the same exact God? I got to speak directly to them, but with the power and wisdom of God. I'm not just going to go directly to God and say, hey, execute this. Yeah, I would like for you to, but at the same time, I'm powerful as fuck on this realm. So I'm going to help you with the execution, but your words is powerful, and the way you go about it, the way you speak, the things that you say is very, very important. It's very important that you're specific when talking to God. You're specific, you speak with conviction, you speak with confidence, and you command. My mom used to say you have power over every demon and spirit in heaven and hell. And it's true, you do. Another example of a prayer, one that I say, I decree that my mind is set free from all strongholds. I'm not asking, I'm not begging. I'm making a statement because I'm not giving it an option. I'm speaking directly to the issue. I decree that my mind is set free from all strongholds. I'm speaking directly to my mind. And any strongholds that may be hindering my mind, anything that may be causing me to feel as if I'm not mentally free, I break you. I'm not giving you much of an option. One, I pray to God every day, starting off. So I'm already operating within His power, within His will. So all I have to do is just open up my mouth and speak. I'm not asking for anything. I disassemble the spirits working to hinder my prayers and I destroy you with the fire of God. This is me, as you can tell, based off what I said. I'm not putting this all in God's hand. God says faith without works is dead. I'm not about to just put it all in your hand and just let that lay dormant. I'm not going to do that. I got to do my part too. So I disassemble the spirit. So whatever spirits are working to come at me, you're now disassembled because I said so. I control you. You don't control me. And I destroy you with the fire of God. So not only am I going to destroy you, but I'm going to disintegrate you because I'm using the fire of God. And once God cuts you with that fire, with that fiery sword, you're done. You're over with. So I disassemble the spirits working to hinder my prayers, and I destroy you with the fire of God. But here's the thing, you can't just destroy something and then not replace it with something else. I command every ill will portal to be opened, released, and returned to sender tenfold. Again, that's another command. I command every ill will portal. So any portals, any oracles, anything created by anyone that is trying to hinder me, that's trying to block me, curse me, I open you and I release you and I return you back to where you came from. So you really can't even touch me. Let's see. Because as I said before, you can't just take it away and then not replace it with something. I break through impenetrable walls and barricades into the realm of the miraculous. So I'm getting rid of these portals that are sent to me. I'm getting rid of these strongholds. I'm getting rid of these hindrances, these trials and tribulations. But I'm replacing them with increase, abundance, prosperity, influence, affluence, and wealth. I break through impenetrable walls and barricades into the realm of the miraculous. So these walls that were once impenetrable, I break through them. Why? Because I said so. And barricades, these barricades that were set up to hinder me, that were set up so that I couldn't get past them, I break through them into the realm of the miraculous. So I'm not just breaking through them and just staying, in the same position. No, I break through them into the realm of the miraculous, into the realm of increase, abundance, prosperity, influence, affluence, and wealth. I command every ill-willed issue must be moved. So everything that is not in direct alignment with God, you must get out of my way. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm telling you. Because our words are power. Our words are what makes and breaks us. Our words literally create our reality. Not only that, but our thoughts. When we think, it gives off actual waves. Our words give off sound waves. And these sound waves begin to form into reality. So when we speak or when we pray or when I speak, I remember to do it from a place of humbleness towards God, but also understanding that I control this shit. Now, in this book, Prayers That Rout Demons, that I read, that I'm always taking pictures of and showing you guys on Instagram, it's also another warfare type book. For instance, here's one right here. My mom used to make me read out this book because I dealt a lot with different mental issues. And I read this book still, even though I'm not a Christian. However, I do reword things to fit my belief system. But here's just, a bit of, okay, a bit of something here. Breaking the power of schizophrenia and double-mindedness. I bind and rebuke every spirit that will attempt to distort, disturb, or disintegrate the development of my personality. So I bind and rebuke every spirit that would attempt to distort, disturb, and disintegrate the development of my personality. Again, I bind and rebuke every spirit that would attempt to distort, disturb, and disintegrate the development of my personality. Meaning, if it wasn't God's will for me and for what He wanted me to be, excuse me, shout out to the local airport. It's a military-based airport. But again, I bind and rebuke every spirit that would attempt to distort, disturb, and disintegrate the development of my personality. Meaning, I'm allowing God to completely move the way that he wants to. And remember, I say he, but God is a he, she, they. I don't believe God has a gender. I just say he because that's how I grew up hearing it being said. But God doesn't have a gender to me. But God is a spirit. God is a consciousness, an overall consciousness, a higher consciousness, an ascendant one. Um, but with this prayer, with this binding and rebuking any spirit that is actively working towards my mind, be it a bloodline curse, or be it something that has attached itself to me, be it something that is sent to me, I rebuke you and I bind you, because you're not going to attempt to distort, disturb, and disintegrate the development that I'm supposed to see. See, we make a contract with God before we come here, and then we come here. And at this point, we're free agents, and we're starting to be influenced by the world. So the personality and who God wants us to be sometimes can become distorted. But I bind that up and I rebuke you and I send you back, because I don't want that. I want to move based on how God wants me to move. I break all curses of schizophrenia and double-mindedness on my family. Now, especially when you come from a family and y'all got a couple of generational curses with mental illnesses. I break all curses of schizophrenia and double-mindedness on my family. A lot of what we deal with are generational. It's not even us. It's not even our parents, even though they dealt with it too. It's not even our grandparents, even though they dealt with it too. This shit goes back. It goes back. And we're the ones called to break it. I bind and rebuke the spirit of double-mindedness. I'm not giving it an option to operate. You have to go. You have to. I'm not about to ask you. I'm not saying, God, please. No, you have to go. You have to. I bind and take authority. I bind. So I'm binding you and I'm taking authority. So I'm taking you from your high place and bringing you down, and I'm taking that seat. I bind and take authority over the strong men of rejection and rebellion, and I separate them. I separate rejection and rebellion, and I take authority over the strong men who operate out of that. I bind and I cast out the spirits of rejection, fear of rejection, and self-rejection. I bind and I get rid of. Cast out means you're getting rid of. You're getting rid of it. But see, if we're going to bind something and we're going to cast out something, we need to replace it with something. What are we replacing it with? If we're getting rid of rejection, what are we going to replace that rejection with? Acceptance. We're not just going to get rid of something. We're going to replace it as well. I bind and I cast out all spirits of self-accusation and compulsion. I bind and I cast out all spirits of self-accusation and compulsion. I bind and I cast out all spirits of fear of judgment, self-pity, false compassion, and false responsibility. Wow. See, a lot of these prayers require you to be real with yourself. They require you to be upfront with yourself and with God, because if you can't be upfront with you, how do you expect God to just lay things at your feet? You can't even recognize real from fake within yourself, so you're not going to be able to tell. I'm going to read some of the prayers from the Psalms book so that you guys can hear a bit of a difference, because these are for breaking curses. All types of curses, like prayers and decrees that break powers of darkness, prayers that destroy oppression, prayers over gates, prayers against idols, prayers over high places, prayers to get rid of flies, serpents. Y'all,